Hello and welcome to Sport Tonight. I'm Cecilia Mogbe in Lagos.
Sporty greetings to you wherever you are in the world joining us. In London, I'm Austin Okodakna. Cecilia, big nights in the UEFA Europa League. I'm monitoring that game between Bayer Leverkusen and AS Roma at the Bay Arena. A bit of lifeline for AS Roma. Paredes scored from the spot just before halftime. So it's Roma, it's Leverkusen 0, Roma 1. Remember, the first leg ended 2-0 in favor of Bayer Leverkusen. So we're going to see fireworks in the second half. I cannot wait. Just like what we saw in the UEFA Champions League, we might get extra talking points tonight in the Europa League, Cecilia.
It's looking like that. Of course, we're all waiting for that historic night to happen. That is, if Bayern can win this, then they're going to go all through the season unbeaten. I mean, in all competition, no team have ever done that. I think the Invincibles, the Arsenal, will have to keep quiet if they're able to achieve that dream. All right, this is what the show looks like tonight. Of course, our focus is on the UEFA Champions League. What Real Madrid did last night is what they did in 2016, but the difference is, in 2016, they came from a goal down 5 times all through the Champions League. And of course, this year also, they're doing that. This is the 4th time they have to come from a goal down to win a game. Surely, they don't even know when to give up. Also, we'll talk about Europa League, as Austin mentioned, and we'll touch down on what's happening with NWFL, that's Nigeria Women's Football League, talking about the Super 6. Yes, it's ready. All the teams will give you the dates when they will define the winner will be decided, and of course, the teams taking part in it. You already know that, but Bayelsa, of course, is hosting that of this year. And we'll touch down on the rescheduled game of Rivers United not looking good, goalless. All right, we'll talk about that. And also, yes, Chelsea, what's happening today? Everything is actually looking good, coming together, falling into place at Stamford Bridge, while Old Trafford is actually falling apart. Do you know, but Chelsea, everything's coming together. And of course, Mauricio Pochettino, is this something that you want to say? Okay, maybe Mauricio Pochettino, is this something you want to say? Chelsea have had a better half of the season than they've had at the beginning of the season. These and many more we'll be talking about tonight on Sports Tonight. But then we have Onifade right here in the studio joining us on the program. Good evening. It's good to have you.
Yeah, good evening, Cecilia. It's good to be here. So many talking points across the world of football, particularly. Champions League last night, the drama is still there. But I don't know if I agree with you that you want Bayern Leverkusen to go to have the treble invisible. I don't know. I think Arsenal, if that's the only thing they will keep this season, they should keep it.
You know the difference between the Invincibles of Arsenal and Bayer Leverkusen? This is across Europe, all competition. Arsenal was just the league. Yeah. So that's the difference. So already they've eclipsed that. We just want to count the numbers. What number are Bayern right now? So no matter what you will say, I mean, what they've done is remarkable. Xabi Alonso, I mean, couldn't say, I'm happy he's staying he's staying, for next season. But I hope he can stay, maybe for 5 seasons at that club, see what he can really do. All right, Austin, we're starting up with the UEFA Champions League. So many talking points coming from that game last night. Yes, I mean, Real Madrid, I don't even, it's hard to describe Real Madrid, for instance. When you are coached by Carlo Ancelotti, somehow the mentality is different. I mean, I don't know what he tells them. Like, I mean, 4 matches at this season, considering the first goal, and of course, coming back to win it. This is what they are known for. I mean, in 2016-2017 season, they went on to lift the trophy. Yeah.
Before we worry about what Carlo Ancelotti says to his team, let's bother why this man is never worried. He's always calm. 84th minute, camera was on him last night, and Ancelotti wasn't in any way bothered. Not like he has watched the game before he even came to the Santiago Bernabeu, that he knows what's going to happen in the 88th minute. And then when he brought in Oselu, everything changed. That's one player that every time he has come on for Real Madrid this season, he just gets off and then puts instant impact into the match. Last night, he definitely owned Madrid. And with Carlo Ancelotti and this team, remember I told you the last time I was on the show that I think the Champions League just loves Real Madrid. I used to say before that Real Madrid loves the Champions League, but I think the Champions League just loves Real Madrid. What a way to do it against a determined Bayern Munich team, a team that was ready to fight to go all the way. And from the 88th minute that they came back into that game last night, Cecilia, there was definitely not going back for Real Madrid.
There was no going back for them. Lola, I mean, when Real Madrid had this kind of run, I mean, having to go down, coming back to in 5 games in 2016-2017 season, they went on to lift the trophy. It's looking like that this time. And as Austin mentioned, Ocello, I mean, this is the 5th time he's actually scoring as a substitute. I mean, that's more. I think he's the only player that have done that in La Liga this season, no competition.
Yeah, I think he's the only one so far. But for Real Madrid, like, I totally agree with Austin that it's not a case of Real Madrid loving the Champions League anymore. It's not the Champions League. It's truly in love with Real Madrid. I think that trophy just doesn't want to leave Madrid at any point. And I have them nailed down for this Champions League the moment they got to the quarterfinal.
The moment they took out Man City, or
even before they took out Man City, I just had a feeling that this time they will beat City. I just had that feeling that they will beat City this time. And Dortmund will need the whole universe to be behind them to stop this Madrid team. Because I don't see that happening. I think this Champions League, the biggest shock will be if they lose it in the final. I think that would be the biggest shock, and I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I mean, Austin, when you have a team that have won it 14 times, like the hunger, that's really what I don't understand. There are some clubs like, oh, they won it before. That hunger is not there. I don't know what Ancelotti you said you were going to say it. What does he even tell these young players? You've seen the Rodrigo, I mean, Ocello, as we mentioned, is even on loan from Espanyol. So he's not even there, like, he's on loan from Espanyol. So it's like, as you get into the team, you just embrace the culture, and then you key in, and then, of course, you have that winning mentality. They won the season, they won the league at the La Liga just this weekend, and then they didn't celebrate. They had to wait for this one, and now they cannot celebrate until June 1st, when they will be facing Borussia Dortmund at Wembley. I know you'll be there.
Right here in London, Cecilia. And look, with Carlo Ancelotti, it tells the story of any club that wants to be successful. You need to have a manager with personality. It's not just about Ocello or Rodrigo. Just look at how the players play for him. Look at how Modric runs for the team. Look at how Vinicius Junior. That was the difference between PSG's game that we saw. We wanted Kylian Mbappe to step up. Vini was running around. Bellingham wasn't up to speed last night. But the other guys, Toni Kroos was fantastic. Rudiger was fantastic. This is a team that, by the time they look at the man who has been giving them instructions, then they know they need to play for the manager. They need to come out and do something for the pride and glory of Real Madrid. And that's what we saw last night. I told you 84th minute, camera, close-up shot, then went to extreme close-up shot on Carlo Ancelotti, and the man didn't bat a lead. He's not worried. He's not pointing to players. He's not shouting. Turned to his assistant, gave an instruction. And 4 minutes later, Ocello got the equalizer. Some would say it was an unfortunate night for Bayern Munich and Manuel Neuer. But look, just that's what it is. I keep telling you guys, sometimes there's a spirit that controls football. When it wants to go the way it wants to go, nothing, absolutely nothing can stop it. Unfortunately, Manuel Neuer had to pay with that haul and brought Real Madrid into it. And then Ocello again with the second goal. VAR tried to stop it, looked at it, said, no, I have nothing on this goal. Real Madrid 2-1. Then the final of the UEFA Champions League. And there is nowhere. Damilola Onifade has just confirmed, I think, the 25th analyst I've heard in just over 24 hours, that is Real Madrid that is going to win it. But this Borussia Dortmund team, we'll never say never. What they've done with the yellow wall, what they've done with their season in Europe, there's some, I think, suffering in 5th position in the Bundesliga, but they've brought a fantastic display into the Champions League. Whatever Ancelotti is saying to his team, whatever love they have for this competition, they need to show it when they come to Wembley. Let's listen to Carlo Ancelotti, get some post-match reaction, and I'll get back into the show.
Well, I think we played well. To be honest, we had the opportunity, good control of the game, and we had the strength to go up when they score. It happened again here. It's quite usual that the Bernabeu, with the support of our supporters, we can do something that is unexpected. We have expected us fantastic days with our supporter to celebrate the Liga, to celebrate the final. Oh, will be fantastic in this day in Madrid. You can stay in Madrid. On the pitch, Joselu did a fantastic job because he's a fantastic striker. We could use more the wing to put crosses, and we did really well. We had a lot of energy at the end of the game.
Carlo Ancelotti talking about how they did it against Bayern Munich in the second leg semi-final of the UEFA Champions League. And Cecilia, you asked me what does he say to this team? I don't know, but I know Carlo Ancelotti knows how to push his team. When they were coming to Manchester to take City in the second leg of the quarterfinals, he said that they knew they were going to suffer. He told his players, you will suffer, but don't fall, don't die. And today they're standing in the final.
You suffer because you won't get the ball that much. City knows how to play with the ball, and that's one thing. But then Thomas Tuchel also has been talking. He's really not happy, especially with the late goal that was scored. I mean, the whistle was already up. The players kept playing. Yes, it was a goal, but it wasn't enough. By the end of the day, he wasn't really happy with that. But could that have changed the whole context of the game? It could have been 2-2.
It could have been 2-2, but then you see these things happen in
football,
and that's why we love the game. It does happen in football. Sometimes some of this call can be a bit funny, but it still doesn't mean it's against the rule of the game. If you look at the letters of the law, is the referee wrong or the linesman? Maybe a bit here, because the new rule
What do you think?
I think the linesman raised his flag a bit too early.
Yes, too early,
I think he raised it too early. I mean, that phase of play was still on, and the new rule is that allow it to go. Even if they score, you can now recall it. That's why VAR is there. So I think that's the bit of controversy. But then the element of human error, you can't take it away from football. We are talking about it. That's why the game is this beautiful. That's why we love it. The controversy is that there are a few calls that will favor Bayern the next time, and he will love it. He will embrace it. So when it goes against you, you just have to accept.
We'll have a Madrista right here in the studio. Let's listen to Thomas Tuchel. I mean, Bayern is going to end the season without nothing. That's strange. Hurricane factor. Listen to Thomas Tuchel.
Very unusual mistake of our very best player for the equalizer. Then we conceded in a very narrow decision, the second one in stoppage time. Then we scored one. And they have a disastrous decision from the linesman and from the referee. So it feels... Yeah, it feels almost like a betrayal in the end because of that decision. And yeah, it was a huge fight. We left everything on the pitch. We were almost there. Now we have to say congratulations to Real Madrid. The linesman said sorry. That does not help on that kind of level to raise the flag in a decision like this, in a close decision in the last minute. And the referee as well. The referee does not have to whistle. He sees that we win the second ball. He sees that we get a shot away. To whistle is a very, very bad decision. And it's against the rules, and it's a bad decision from both of them. It's a disaster, but okay. Tough to swallow, but it's the way it is. The second half, more and more, you're never fully sure, of course, because it's Madrid and it's in Madrid. We were not clinical enough in our counterattacks as well. We could have, if we are more clinical, more calm in the opponent's half, then we can create maybe a decisive chance for the second goal. Part of the story is that we start with a front four, and we all four players need to go out because of injuries and cramps. This is a bit too much on that level. If you're through in the 88th minute, of course you see the end of the tunnel, and you know, was it our very best match? No, but we said before, we don't need to be perfect. We just need to be good enough on this evening. So if you have a good fight, if things are difficult, then you fight. And the team gave everything. We did it together. And in the moment where we think I have one player out for cramps, we concede a goal that we will never concede with our goalkeeper.
All right, that's Thomas Tuchel. Austin, do we have a little update from the Europa League if Leverkusen will be joining Dortmund in the final of European competition? Or it's going to be, yes, Roman?
It will be a big one for Germany if that happens. But at the moment, 55th minutes being played right now at the Bay Arena. It's still Leverkusen 0, AS Roma 1. If it ends this way, it is Leverkusen that will advance. But interesting tales coming out of Italy. It's now Atalanta 2, Marseille 0. And Aston Villa in the Conference League, we need to suffer some more because Olympiacos leads by a single goal in the 53rd minute. So yes, Cecilia, nothing has really changed, but I'm monitoring that game. Leverkusen, they are pushing, they are holding their own. I'm sure they want to play for that record. They don't look distracted. This is a team that even if it's the 95th minute, Cecilia, you would still expect them to score. They've done it in about 13 different matches. So yes, Roma knows this one. It's not done and dusted. Even if they score 2-0, maybe if they score 3-0 or 4-0, then yes, they can start celebrating. But as it stands, it's still Xabi and his team heading to the final, Cecilia.
Still 2-1. All right, let's go to the English Premier League, leave Europe for now. I'll give you updates as the games are going on. We're talking about the Young Player of the Year award. I mean, there's some names you see and you'll be wondering, what's that guy still doing there? You know, when you start early, you'll be making names, and you're still within that range, your name will always be there. We'll take a look at Young Player of the Season nominees from the Premier League now. Number 1 and number 2, of course, Bukayo Saka from Arsenal. You're wondering, why is Bukayo Saka still here? He's within the range, and he's been fantastic this season. William Saliba, also from Arsenal, is also there. From Tottenham Hotspur, Destiny Udogie right there. And, of course, Romy Maino from Manchester United and Cole Palmer of Chelsea. And these are the players making up the Young Player of the Year. And you flip over, and you're seeing names again. Phil Foden is here from Manchester City. Erling Haaland, and you're wondering, what's he doing here? He's also here. I mean, he's within the range. Alexander Isak of Newcastle United is also part of the nominees for the Young Player of the Year. But somehow you just know who is going to win it. Cool, Mama. Okay, now let's take a look at the other ones. I mean, the Player of the Season. There's some names you also see there, and you know that's actually where they belong to. Player of the Season nominees: Declan Rice is there of Arsenal. Virgil van Dijk, of course, of Liverpool, and Ole Watkins is also there. Let's move over to other players that are also there. Erling Haaland, for instance, is part of this the Player of the Season nominees, because that's really where he belongs, not the other one. Yeah, Phil Foden of Manchester City, Alexander Isak of Newcastle also here, Martin Odegaard of Arsenal, and of course Cole Palmer of Chelsea. See him appearing twice in Bobo. Phil Foden, Erling Haaland, I mean, this is really where they belong. Onifade, I'll come to you here. I mean, I saw the list at first. I'm like, Young Player of the Year. What's Erling Haaland doing there?
Yeah, he's young.
I get that. Come on, there's just some names. Why would you deprive other younger players? You know where you belong. There's a spot where you belong.
Well, the most important thing is how old is he? He's still within the range. You can't deny him that. I mean, I know that he's done so well.
Maybe they should change it to maybe Rookie of the Year. Like
I think something like that might be better, or the newcomer of the year or something in that mode. Because if you keep using Young Player of the Year, you have to limit it to their age. And some players,
like
Rooney was featuring on the Young Player of the Year for almost like 7 years when he was playing. So, but I think my pick this year should be Cole Palmer.
Okay, Cole Palmer, of Chelsea,
because I think there is that surprise element that we didn't expect. Saka has had a fantastic season. Erling Haaland, maybe not as the highs of last season.
Erling Haaland should. Let's play Young Player of the Year.
Young Player of Saka, Saliba, even Destiny Udogie has done well for Tottenham Hotspur. But I think for me, the player that came from out of nothing this season is Cole Palmer, and I think that credit should just go to him.
I mean, you look at the fact that he's coming from Manchester City.
Yeah.
All right. Austin, just a quick one on this before we go on a break. I mean, the Young Player of the Year and, of course, Player of the Season, and some of the names you're seeing there.
Austin? With Haaland, I was wondering, you know, because remember last year he won the Player of the Season and the Young Player Award, and now he's nominated again. And with everything these guys done, Cecilia, hate him or love him, it's difficult to take him out of the conversation. He's just 23. Saka is 22. I think Cole Palmer is 22 also. Phil Foden is 20. But the way Haaland has been instrumental to Manchester City. It's just difficult to take him out of the conversation. So yeah, I really don't go big on awards when the players in question are fantastic players. But I think Bukayo Saka has done well enough for Arsenal. He's been so consistent. I think about 3 seasons that guy has been consistent for Arsenal. He has what it takes to, win the Young Players Award. With the Player of the Season, no debates. Everybody there is a big boy. But where is Rodri, Cecilia? Where is Rodri and everything he has done for Manchester City this season? I'm not saying take off Virgil van Dijk or any other player and pull Rodri, but Rodri deserves to be in that conversation with his level of performance, with the consistency he has shown us. Whenever he's not playing City, they are not winning. Anytime he's on the pitch, City is winning. That sort of player, even if he's not winning, puts him in the conversation. Sports Tonight on Channels Television. Let's go on this quick break. When we come back, what's going on in the UEFA Europa League? We'll give you updates. And, of course, women's football in Nigeria. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us. Welcome back, Sports Tonight on Channels Television. We're taking a look at what's going on in our exciting world of sport. I told you before that break that we'll be giving you updates coming from the second leg of the semi-final of the UEFA Europa League. Let me let you know what's going on. That game between Atalanta and Marseille is still Atalanta 2, Marseille 0, 3-1 on aggregate. So Atalanta seem to be cruising away with this one. Super Eagles striker Ademola Lookman with the opening goal for Atalanta in the 30th minute. So that's good information. The game between Bayer Leverkusen and AS Roma is still 1-0 in favor of the visitors. Bayer Leverkusen, they are pushing, they are playing for a record. Can they do it tonight? They've done it over and over again. So let's see if they can do it tonight. The game between Olympiacos and Aston Villa is still 1-0, Cecilia. Nothing has changed in that fixture. Yeah,
that's a 5-1 on aggregate, right? Aston Villa not looking good to get into the final. All right, let's quickly talk about the manager of the season. Those that have been nominated. I mean, those managers that would likely be that. And, of course, the regular suspects, of course. When you have Pep Guardiola, you have Jurgen Klopp, then you have Mikel Arteta, Adoni Iraola. I mean, kind of a new name coming into that of AFC Bournemouth. You know that it will not be so tight. But I think, do I need to think?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Now, if you can actually see that, I'll just run through them. But that's how it is a manager of the season that we have Pep Guardiola of Manchester City, Jurgen Klopp of Liverpool, then you have Unai Emery of Aston Villa, and of course, you also have Mikel Arteta of Arsenal and the Bournemouth coach, Adoni Iraola, make up the manager of the season. And you can easily say you know where it's going to go to.
I think I know where it's going to go to. The winner of the league should win it. But others have gotten their credit with the mention. But I would have, if this is open, leave out the league title. I probably have gone for Adoni Iraola because nobody saw Bournemouth at the beginning of the season. They kind of run, and the way they've revived their season is quite something commendable. Aston Villa, we all know he's a good coach. Maybe the only bad face he had was coming to Arsenal. Otherwise, he's been a very good coach with decent results. But I think if you win the league, then you should be the manager of the season. So this is between Pep and Arteta for me.
Austin, Pep and Arteta, right? That's what it's looking like.
It looks that way, but that's what I'm talking about. I love the fact that Andoni had a shot at this one. That's what I wanted with Rodri, who has played 47 matches for City without losing a game. So it looks good with the Bournemouth manager making that short list. But with awards, you never say never. I like what Unai Emery has done with Aston Villa. Let's take it out of the fact that Aston Villa was a team that struggled last season. Somehow Unai has made them, not for last week and right now when they're going through in the Conference League. But it has made them a team to be respected. I don't think they lost to any of the big teams at Villa Park this season. Remember when they had that fantastic run with Sheffield United that came to stop it, but they beat City, they beat Man U, they beat Arsenal, they beat Liverpool, they beat all of the big teams. Yeah. So yeah, I totally agree. But if you want us to give it a fairy tale ending, Cecilia, one that I'll say, I'll just give it to Jurgen Klopp.
Nah.
Okay, I didn't just do that. I get it. I understand. Okay.
Yeah.
At least yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. You're not winning the league. Okay. He won the Mickey Mouse Cup or Carabao Cup. Okay.
Oh no, Cecilia! A lot of teams died to win that trophy, and Jurgen did it. And both for you see, that's why I say football can be funny. At some point, Liverpool looked so good to compete for this title. Everything just started falling apart.
I was listening to him last weekend when he was talking about before they faced Tottenham, the 4-2 win at the presser. He said something about the pressure is actually off his back. When we were competing for the league title, there was so much pressure. Now they're no longer in the run for the title. The pressure is off him. So he's just going to see it out and then rest so well because he knows the league is for Arsenal or Manchester City. All right, let's leave that and go to Stamford Bridge and see what's currently happening with the owners. Like, according to Todd, he's saying that everything, is coming together, falling into place. Chelsea for a long while, second half of the season, 10th, 11th, that's where you see them 9th. And then right now they are 7th, even higher than the Manchester United who had a good run. But things are coming together. For him to say things are coming together, that means he's believing in Pochettino. The players they've bought, they're coming together. Yes, we know, Jackson can be wasteful. But when Jackson is really ready to play, he give you the goals. And Chelsea just kind of surprised everyone, especially with the game they played this weekend. You didn't expect them to thump West Ham like that. Ended 5-0. When it was 4, I stopped watching. And when I checked the final score, it was like, how? That's Chelsea.
I think they've had a good run in the last 2 or 3 weeks. But the word, everything is coming together. Only Todd Boehly can define that. Because you have to know what is on his mind. Because I'm not deceived. You can't tell me that at the beginning of the season, with the kind of investment I'm bringing Poch in, that he expects Tottenham to be outside of the Champions League place. So for me, I think it's a disappointing season, and I don't see how...
They're going to get to European football. It's looking like they can get to European football.
But I do not think
they didn't have that this season.
I don't think that was their target even when they started this season. They probably will be thinking of the top 4. That's my opinion. But unfortunately, they've made the best of a bad situation. That's the way I will see it. They've made the best of a bad situation because if they get into the Europa League, it will be a disaster of a season, considering the fact that they have loads of new and young players and a new coach as well. So everything is shaping up. Let's see what next season. I think he's speaking too early. That's where I'm going to. Maybe should have calmed down. Let the season end, and let's see how they pick up next season. That would define a lot of things in the strategy and the choice of coach.
I think maybe the reason he's talking is simply because Nottingham Forest, Brighton, and Bournemouth, these are the games they need to play more. And I don't see them losing to these teams, especially after what they did to Tottenham, Aston Villa coming from a goal down, and of course, West Ham that led to the sacking of, Moyes. All right, let's listen to him. You want to hear him and really know what he said and what he meant by that, saying that this was all they draw up at the beginning of the season. And of course, it's coming together at Stamford Bridge.
We've seen, the last 2.5 games at least, the second half of Aston Villa and Tottenham and West Ham, where we played just beautiful football. It was so fluid. It was exactly the way we drew it up, where we come out of the back, build up, and then move up the pitch, very organized. And, the number of shots we had on goal over those 2.5 games, you could really start to see what we were working on coming together. And so our goal is obviously to win. And, I think just the commentary has changed, over the last 2.5 games. I've never seen anything change so quickly, than kind of perspectives on how a team does or how a team is doing. Good for players from, who I, had a great relationship and still do is Koulibaly. And Koulibaly came over from Serie A, and he told me one time, he said, in Serie A, I get to think and then run. In Premier League, I have to run while I think, and I'm still adjusting to that.
Yeah, that's the difference. That's why most players actually find it hard to get into the Premier League when they were playing. Austin, you remember what, the way Chelsea played against Manchester City in that FA Cup semi-final? I mean, that's when we knew that, okay, it's like Chelsea is coming back. I mean,
yeah.
Since that time, they've had a very fantastic run. Do you agree with him saying that things are actually coming together? It was what they drew together. With the players gelling, it's looking like next season might just be their season.
We'll see. But I totally agree with him that the plan, according to him, that they drew, it's coming together now. You see the way Chelsea seem to be playing. You would agree with him that they play fluid football now.
Yes.
The players are beginning to understand themselves. It's not even that FA Cup match, Cecilia. It was that 1-1 at Etihad. You could tell and see the quality in this Chelsea's team. When people were busy criticizing Chelsea, I said, look, relax. What happened with Chelsea was a brain surgery. That era of Abramovich and everything that happened with the ownership and them, getting into a very terrible state financially, it's tough. And then a new owner comes in with new operations, with new philosophy. It takes a while to adjust. So the good thing is now they're beginning to see it. After that spirited draw against Aston Villa, they've gone on to win their last 2 matches. They are 7th on the log. 2 points from 6th place, Newcastle. So if they win their remaining 3 matches and Newcastle don't win that, it means Chelsea can even finish in 6th position. That means they will keep Mauricio. It doesn't mean, because it's funny these days out there, just like players. Maybe Mauricio Pochettino will stay, and then they want to see what they can build again with this team. But you have to give it up to Chelsea and the way they've picked themselves back up and now trying to see how they can get into European sports.
I think it's looking like that because from the way Todd actually talked about him, I think he respects him a lot. He might just stay with the club for next season. All right, we're leaving Chelsea, and of course, coming home. Yes, we are coming home. NWFL, get our attention right now. Talking about, let's just look at the teams for Super 6 again. Refresh your memory about that. Look at those teams competing in the Super 6. And of course, what's going to happen in Bayelsa. Bayelsa is also one of those teams that are participating in the Super 6. Bayelsa is there. You also have Rivers Angels, of course, the regular. They're also part of the teams. Edo Queens, of course, the Nassau Amazons, Heartland Queens, and of course, Confluence Queens are the teams. So take a look at the final 6 teams that will be taking part in the Nigerian Women's Football League Premiership Super 6 that will be taking place in Bayelsa State this year. Of course, Bayelsa Queens leading the chart, Rivers Angels, Confluence Queens, Edo Queens, Nassau Amazons who talk their group, and Heartland. So these are the teams, and we know the teams that won it before. Unfortunately, defending champions, Delta Queens, they're not here. They had a lot of issues. I mean, we read so many articles of players saying they're hungry. I mean, that's really funny. But that's how it's been for Delta Queens this season. When you don't have the finance, players are not taken care of. Somehow it's hard. I'm not surprised they didn't make the Super 6. But Super 6 in Bayelsa, what are we looking forward to in Yanogwa?
We're looking forward to a very competitive Final 6 because these teams are, they are no pushovers. Even when the Atlant men are struggling, the Atlant Queens are flying because the men are struggling in the MPFL, and you see the women up there. So I see, of course, from this list, your top 2 will probably be Bayelsa and Rivers Angels, but then you also can't rule out Edo Queens and Nassau Amazons in that conversation. Quite sad, like you also mentioned, that the defending champion Delta Queens are not here, and I'm a bit surprised because Delta Queens, they are from one of those states that
Did you remember the group B, the way it is, right? That's the group you had, the Bayelsa Queens, Rivers Angels, the Queens, Delta Queens.
It was like that last season when they won.
Yeah, it wasn't like, the way it was grouped this time around, like you had the big teams in
one side,
and then you had like, I'm not disrespectful to the other team, but you can't have a group that you have Bayelsa, Edo, Rivers, Delta.
But you know, the grouping is more of a region thing. It's more proximity when you go this grouping. It's more proximity, and the heavyweight as far as women football is concerned.
I'm sure that's why Heartland made it to Super 6 this time around because of the group.
You should know where I was going when I mentioned that.
Austin, what should we expect in the end of Go? I mean, it's going to be another fun fair for the Super 6.
Yeah, I'm expecting fireworks, particularly from that Group B that we knew was going to definitely get us talking and go all the way till the final day of the regular season, and it actually lived up to expectation. Remember when I was telling you, when Rivers Angels were struggling, I said they know how to just make it to the championship stage, and they did just that. They were the first team to qualify from Group B, and then Bayelsa Queens and Edo Queens joined. I agree with some of the things that Damilola talked about, but this is the time for those teams from Group A to show that, look, yes, our group was not talked about that much. We were not the difficult group, but we can compete. Nassau Amazon, Cecilia, I think about 4 seasons ago, they were in the reckoning. There's no way we're talking about women's football in Nigeria that Nassau Amazons won't come in. So this is a time for them to prove a point. I have a soft spot for Confluence Queens. I love what they always do when you don't expect them to do something. So this is the Super 6 where if you start well and finish well, you are going to lift the trophy. But then again, there's those giants in Rivers Angels, Edo Queens, Bayelsa Queens who are actually playing at home, and we know for sure what the state government have done for Bayelsa Queens and sports in general in Bayelsa State. They will come all out, they will support the team, and then that might just be the extra push that Bayelsa Queens will need to go all the way in the Super 6.
That extra push, we're looking forward to that. Now, let's take a look at the Federation Cup. Yes, the President's Federation Cup is also going on. Look at the teams, the results of the matches. Round of 32 results. Just run through them. A lot of games were decided in the women's round of 32 games, starting up with Bayelsa Queens against Bright Future Queens. It was 3-0. National Missions and Sweet the Queens. It was also 3-0. And Edo Queens beating Kada Queens. This was a shocking one. Kada Queens is also one of those teams in NWFL Premiership team. But it ended 8-2. Danos Ladies against Mighty Jets Mata. It ended 3-0. And Remo Stars Ladies and Oseke Lanes. It was 4-0. And Abia Angels against Custom Ladies. That ended 8-0. I flip over to the other results coming from the women's round of 32 matches. Niger Hotels and Youth Academy, it was 7-0. FC Robos and Omimang, it ended 3-0. And Kwara Ladies and Ayudia Ladies Queens ended 3-1. Delta Queens against Fortress Ladies, it was 2-1. Sunshine Queens against Greenfoot, 3-1. And of course, Plateau United Ladies losing to Honey Badgers by 3-1. So these are the results. President Federation Cup, the women's round of 32 currently going on across the country. Most of the centers you have Abuja, and of course, Bayelsa and some other states are hosting some of these games. Earlier, I mentioned Rivers United. Yes. I mean, when they met earlier in the year, in October, I ended goalless. Yeah, against Kwara United. And there's another goalless game. I'm asking, what is it? But actually helped them a lot from 13th to 11th now.
It helped them, but I don't think it's going to the kind of script that Rivers United will have wanted. That backlog of games kind of gave them the opportunity to, the advantage to come up the table at this time. But it's not been all rosy for them, because the last game against Rema as well, they also lost, and this time they drew. And I think the reason for that is that most of these games were away from home. Now I think their next game is even away from home to Sunshine Stars on Sunday as well. So they are not climbing as much as they would have loved with these games that they have, because they are either losing or drawing games here and there. But of course, I mean, all the other teams also need the point. And so they just have to keep struggling, keep fighting, and hopefully they can get a win in their next game.
Getting a win in their next game. Austin, we're talking about how do I put it now? The last time we talked about when you have games in hand are not games you're sure of, until you win them. No, now they're having this time of playing this game. Losing to Remo Stars, as they mentioned, on Monday, and now on Wednesday night against Kwara United. The first leg ended goalless, and I'm thinking maybe, reverse fixture should be like at least, maybe there's a goal, but these teams just don't like scoring against each other.
I think Rivers United should take this goalless draw against Kwara United in good faith, because I was expecting Kwara United to win. you know, because they've been a decent team this season. And they're that sort of team that, you know, when they play at home, they always come all out to, you know, give their best. I said it to you, I think it was last week. I said, with the fixtures for Rivers United, I do not see them, you know, running over those teams. Another difficult game for them is coming up against Sunshine Stars. After Sunshine Stars, they will play Abia Warriors. So you see, at the end of the day, whatever they drew, just like Chelsea, is not coming together for them, you know? So it's tough. I really don't know what they're going to do to make it to the continent, because if you look at the league table now, the fact that they are not winning games, it just looks so difficult. And when the league comes back, the other guys have rested so well. At Rivers United, they've been playing, you know, so I really don't know how they'll put it together in terms of mental strength and, you know, finding a way to go through the final stretch. It's quite unfortunate that it has come to this, but it is what it is. Let's see what they can do with the remainder of their matches and gain some relevance on the league table.
Well, we'll see what they can really do, because not after consecutively appearing on the continent, and then next season you won't see them. We're not used to seeing Rivers United playing on the continent, and now 11th place. How many games do they have left? 3 more to go, right? 3 more. And then 11th, so if they win all the 3 matches, and they're now hoping that when the other teams come back, fresh, of course, they've rested well. Some of them are playing in the President Federation Cup also. Yeah. But then 25th, they have that time. And then you start thinking of other teams should drop points.
To drop up for you
to climb up. Okay, I want to envy them. So, Austin, let's go to Europe before we go. It's looking like that record that Bayer Leverkusen is looking for, well, might just end up tonight. What's the current scoreline?
Cecilia, it won't end tonight. Yeah, quick update. It was Leandro Paredes that gave AS Roma a 2-0 lead, again from the penalty spot. VAR had to come into it and found out that the ball indeed touched the Leverkusen player on his hand before, you know, it went down. So penalty was awarded to AS Roma. AS Roma 2, Leverkusen 0. But as I speak to you now, just when you were asking that question, Leverkusen, they pulled one back. It's now 2-1 on goal. But it tells you now that it's going to be very interesting, because Leverkusen, they just don't know how to lose. Damilola Onifade, you think they can come back?
I expect them to come back. They've done it so. I didn't even know they would go this long before losing
again.
It's
84 minutes.
So it doesn't matter. This Leverkusen team, 93rd minute they can still score. So I'm still keeping my expectation on the fact that they can still get a goal.
Yeah. Judging from what happened to Real Madrid, 88 and 91st
It can happen. It can happen. But then they've done well. Whatever the result is, one just have to give them the credit. I know there is the extra pressure of keeping that record, and that sometimes can be overwhelming.
Well, they're playing at home.
It doesn't matter. The fact is, the game didn't go their way the way they wanted. And so the pressure just swings to them. So it's a two-way thing. It's either you keep your qualification or you want to keep the record. Which one will you sacrifice? I think they better qualify.
Okay, then talking about record. Any hope for Aston Villa, Austin in the Conference League? Because Fiorentina already in the finals. They're just waiting for Olympiacos.
You're not going to ask me. It's now Olympiacos 2, Aston Villa 0, 6-2 on aggregate. Olympiacos will definitely cruise away with this one. The game between Atalanta and Marseille, it's still 2-0. Bayer Leverkusen 1, AS Roma 2. I saw Victor Boniface warming up. I'm sure it will come on and probably make the difference, but let's see. 85th minute now in that game. You never say never with this Leverkusen side, so we're definitely going to have a dramatic ending. That's the show, Cecilia. In London, I'm Austin O'Connor, and in everything you do, remember, let's keep talking sports. Bye for now.
And if it was nice doing this with you.
Yeah, pleasure as well. I enjoyed it.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Mogbe. Have a good night, right?